So for quite some time, you've been asking us to write a cookbook. So we did. Stick around to hear more about it. And I'll probably explain why I'm clean shaven too.
Without oil, this is amazing.
I've never used a recipe that called for this technique.
It impressed me.
This is so good.
That was a good sauce.
I don't know how you do this for a living, Jeremy. This whole talking to a camera thing, a little weird. Anyway.
Greetings and welcome to or welcome back to PB with Jay. Here on the channel, we focus on all things plant-based goodness. And today, this entire video is dedicated to telling you all about our upcoming cookbook. We'll tell you how this book came to be, what the idea is behind it, what's in it, what's not, and what you can expect from it. And stick around to the end of this video because we're going to show you a couple of videos from our recipe testers trying out our recipes.
That was freaking awesome. I could have drank it. It was so good.
On that note, if any of you get our book and you want to make a video review of any of the recipes in it, and you want to send it to us to include in an upcoming video review of our own cookbook by you, send it to the link below. You can just, however you want to send it, you can send it by Dropbox, by WeTransfer. Email me if you're interested at the link right here, and we'll make sure you can get it to us somehow. For those of you that are curious why I'm suddenly clean shaven, it is because I am participating in Movember in support of Emily's cousin, Eric, who is currently in the midst of a battle with cancer. And so we're trying to support him. And if you want to donate to the cause, there's a link in the description down below for that as well. Before we walk you through the behind the scenes of our ebook, I'd like to say hello to some of you who've said hello to us in the comments down below. Terry from Williamsburg, Virginia, Pixie Gardner from Ireland, Sophia from Germany, Susie from Rocky River, Ohio, Julie from Paynesville, Ohio, Leslie from Queensland, Australia, Ron from Towanda, Pennsylvania, Christine from Dallas, Texas, Crystal from Houston, Texas, Samantha from Long Beach, California, Susie from Winfield, Pennsylvania, Samantha from the Emerald Green Isle of Ireland, Jane from Mona, Utah, and Lana from St. George, Utah. If you'd like to shout out here on the channel, all you have to do is say hello to us in the comments down below. Let us know who you are, where you're watching from, and let us know what is one of your favorite recipes that you've learned about through our channel or our website or any version of a PB with J cookdom. All right, let's talk about the cookbook. We actually launched the pre-orders for our cookbook last week, but obviously the link is in the description down below. And for the next few weeks until the launch date, we're offering a 20% discount using code PBWithJ20 for those who get the book in advance. So please do so. It also helps motivate us because we're very much still working on it. But we are very hardcore working towards that November 27th release date. So what makes this book unique? Many of you know that I also work in the film and television industry. And so I've applied one of the lessons I learned in there when I went about creating our first cookbook. One of the things that I learned in the writing of television is that if you've got an idea for an episode of your show, you should ask yourself, well, could this story be put into another series or another show, and would it work just as well? And if the answer is yes, you shouldn't do it because it means it's not specific enough for you. So I took that idea and applied it to us, and I asked myself, well, what's a cookbook that only we could do? And the answer to that is a PB with J family favorites. What I think has become pretty obvious over the course of us doing these recipe cookbook reviews we've done over the last few years is that the four of us, although we have this overlapping palette, there's some uniqueness to each of us. And I know in the comments I've read from a lot of you is you identify with myself, or with Annie, or Ephraim, or Wooly in your taste palettes. And so we thought, instead of doing a typical book where you've got like breakfasts, lunches, and dinners, what if we did chapters based on all of our four palettes? And so that is how we've designed this book. We do have a chapter on family favorites. We've got an odds and ends chapter. And we're also going to do an index based on the traditional breakfast, lunch, and dinner so you can find things quickly. But generally speaking, we designed this book to be an extension of ourselves and our palettes. And we thought that would be interesting for you viewers. The other rule we made when creating this cookbook is that we had to do everything we could to make sure we avoided any of the issues or problems that we have found with the almost 50 cookbooks that we have reviewed over the course of doing our review videos. As a channel that does cookbook reviews as one of our ongoing series, we knew that we would be put under a microscope by our audience. I'll talk more about that in a little bit. So what's in the book? Inside of our book, we have over 50 whole food, plant-based recipes. They all include photos, and not only photos by ourselves, some of them actually include photos by our recipe testers. And what I pride myself on for these photos is that they're not taken by some stylist under perfect lighting in a studio somewhere. These are all photos taken in real kitchens by real people moments before they're about to eat the food, and that includes ourselves. This is what the food actually looks like. I'm sure you've all made dishes and then you look at your final results and then you look at the book in the photo that you cooked from and you're like, how the heck are these two things supposed to align? I know that frustrates the heck out of me, so we wanted to make our photos in the book look exactly like the food that we eat when we rush it together on a weeknight or in the morning or whenever it is we eat these meals. In addition to the photos that our recipe testers have provided that we've used in some recipes, we also have quotes for them down at the bottom. I'm really proud of how thoroughly we recipe tested this book, because I'm sure you've seen in some of the comments in some of our videos where there's mistakes in books or things that just don't make sense. I think there's a lot of cookbooks out there that don't go to that effort of recipe testing for people outside of their own homes. We had over 60 people volunteer to cook our recipes for us in preparation of this book, so thank you to all of them. There will be a section of the book that thanks all of them and lets you know who they are. Wonderful people who are part of our audience. I put a lot of thought into how we would do the layout of our book because I wanted it to be packed full of information but not look overwhelming. So we have got some infographics at the top of every page. There's going to be a section in the book that explains what those mean. Essentially, it's your servings, your timings, any allergens, and what instruments you need to cook with. We know that we have an international audience, so we also have degrees for temperature, both in Celsius and in Fahrenheit. We also have measurements both in, cups as well as grams. I did not include nutritional information. I was going to, that was part of my initial plan, but honestly, I started to double and triple check all of the information I was getting, and I had a really hard time finding a consistency for it. And so instead of giving you misinformation, I decided to just do without it. So instead of that, I've left a section on every single recipe where you can write your own notes about the recipe, things you'd want to adjust or change. Because as you know, around here, we firmly believe that recipes are blueprints to create your own meals for your own tastes, and that includes our recipes as well. We are gonna have a guide in here for timings using the Instant Pot for cooking grains, as well as beans. We're gonna have a how to make your own awesome sauces based on what you've got in your kitchen guide. We're gonna have a breakdown of the most popular cuisines around the world and the best flavor and ingredient pairings for those things to make dishes on the fly. We're also going to give you a section on the common swaps you need to take your omnivore recipes that you've already got from your entire life and convert them to being whole food plant-based. And that's all on top of the recipes. Nice, right? Now, what isn't in this book? As our first book, it was really tempting to just put the entire kitchen sink into it and just overload it with both recipes and informations. But I really firmly believed in it kind of having a theme and a central idea, which is what kind of brought us to the idea of family favorites. The idea that no matter who is in your family,
Yeah.
what their taste buds are like,
It looks like
but it tastes good? There's at least a dozen or so recipes in here for that person. If this book is successful, and we really, really hope that it is, you can expect us to start putting books on a regular basis. I know that a lot of you are here because of my weight loss journey and the information I provide around that. I can see myself putting out a book full of recipes that I ate when I was on my weight loss journey and things that I used to maintain that weight loss. We have another sort of family favorites 2 idea where we want to take a bunch of our old family favorite recipes, both from childhood and before we started eating plant-based, and showing you how we converted those. A book of quick and easy meals that can actually be made quickly and easily in say 20 minutes or less. The list of ideas goes on and on and on. And some of those concepts I mentioned for individual books do exist within this book. So there's that as well. And if you got ideas for a kind of cookbook you'd like to see from us, let us know in the comments down below. We're very open to any ideas as we kind of delve into this new area of PB with J. As I said, the book does include a lot of helpful information, but what I didn't include is some of the stuff that I swear I see in every single plant-based or vegan cookbook today, which is all of your pantry staples and all of the spices and things that you should buy as you go along. We might include something like that, but I don't feel like filling 20 pages full of information like that you can probably get from a quick Google search. Why are we releasing it as an ebook only? I've been very fortunate over the course of this channel becoming friends with a lot of really big names in the cookbook author, plant-based vegan world. And what was interesting about our behind the scenes conversations is that every single one of them recommended to us that if we could put out a book by ourselves directly to our audience and for our audience, we should do so. And these are all people that have worked with some of the biggest publishers in the world, people that are on New York Times bestsellers lists. And while they're not necessarily bitter about their experiences, they see the benefit in going directly to your audience and making the kind of book you want to make. The reality is that if we worked with a traditional publisher, it would take us at least 2 years to put out this first book, and it would be the kind of book they would want us to make, not the kind of book we would want to make. So we decided to put the book out on our own terms. And honestly, the reason for an ebook only is pure economics. For us to self-publish a hardcover book, it would cost 3 to 4 times the amount of money it costs us just to give you the ebook. And that wouldn't necessarily result in any additional profit for us. It would just be an expense for yourselves. And I don't want to do that to our people. The things I like about the ebook format is that it aligns with our beliefs and ethics around environmental causes and keeping excess things to a minimum, shipping, paper, all that kind of stuff. That said, there's absolutely no reason why you can't take our ebook to a printing, publishing place near you and get a beautiful copy made for yourself. We highly encourage and support that. I apologize for those that love a hardcover book. Maybe in the future we'll try to do something like that. Maybe we'll do some giveaways for a really short order, limited version of this book ourselves down the line. But right now, we just can't focus on that. We're just focused on getting the book finished. So if you haven't pre-ordered yet, obviously there's a link down below, but also a QR code right here that you can scan if you're watching this on your TV. Pre-orders, well, it's not like the traditional world where the pre-orders are gonna help get you on a New York Times bestseller list. That's not something we're working towards for this book. What a pre-order honestly does is it saves you a little bit of money. It lets us know how many people are expecting this book. And honestly, it provides a kick in the pants for us to make sure we hit that November 27th deadline. And if we are delayed for any reason, you will get as much heads up as humanly possible from us. And don't forget to use that discount code PBWithJ20 to get 20% off until November 27th. It means a lot to me that so many of you have been asking for this book over the last year or so. And it's taken us a while to put it together because we just wanted it to be as great as we could possibly do for our first book out. We know we're not going to have the kind of reach that the traditional publishers have. We're not going to get a giant marketing push unless we pay a lot of money to a publicist. We're really taking a grassroots approach with this and hoping that our audience will support us both in pre-ordering and ordering the book, but also spreading the word out there. And on that note, if any of you are interested in being affiliates to help us push this even further and make a little money on your own, email us because we can help you get an affiliate code that will allow you to spread the link for the book and get a small percentage of the sales as well. Me personally, I'd rather give money to you to help promote our book than to give it to things like Facebook ads and Instagram ads and all that kind of stuff, which realistically, we're probably gonna do that too, but I'd rather put that into your pockets as a thank you to you for all the support you've given us over the years. Now, as promised, here's a few of our wonderful recipe testers taking our recipes for a spin.
So we're making Jeremy's granola. while. Here we go. So it says start out by boiling some water and putting the dates to soak. I did that already. 4 cups of raw oats in the bowl. Did that. Now your spices is 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Gonna do that. Toss with your hands and make sure those delightful spices are all over the oats. Here. Then toss in everything else on the list except for the dates and tahini. Half a cup. Half a cup of raisins, dried cranberries, a 1/4 cup medium coconut unsweetened. That's my favorite part. 1/4 cup pumpkin seeds. Actually, this is making me hungry already. 1/4 cup sunflower seeds. Yeah, baby, let's go, let's go, let's go. So toss everything in except for the dates. Stir it all around so it's nice and mixed up. Okay, so now I have to make a little well in the middle. Oh yeah, I forgot I was gonna chop up the walnuts. You think these are chopped off enough? Yeah, we're good. I added walnuts because the recipe calls for almonds and I'm allergic to almonds. So I decided to add walnuts instead. I hope I didn't just ruin the entire thing. By now, your dates should be nice and soft. Plop them in the food processor. There we go. Thank you, assistant chef, sous chef.
Yes, chef.
I recommend the process if you have one. Splash a 1/4 cup of the water that the dates was soaking in, which we have right there. And then add the tahini. I think this is the way we're supposed to do this, but you think it needs more water?
No, the tahini will help.
Can I just say that you make it look so easy. All you YouTubers out there, you make cooking look so easy and clean. How in the world do you mix this together?
Oh, yeah. May I?
No. I feel like it almost needs double the date tahini mixture.
No, I think you're fine. It's just you.
I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to get it off my hands.
Yeah, that looks good. You just want it to cover pretty much everything.
Okay, so I'm going to flatten it out. I'm not really sure how this is going to work, but is that supposed to happen? I'm thinking no, right? Probably not. So here it is, the finished product. It looks really beautiful. Now, one note about those dates, we actually put pitted dates in the food processor. So that just shows how inexperienced we are in this department. But before you ask, it says here on Google, some fruit pits are toxic, but date pits are non-toxic and safe to eat. So the date pit can even provide many health benefits. The antioxidants inside are stress reducing. They boost your immune system. They're also high in vitamins and minerals like magnesium, calcium, iron, zinc, and potassium. Therefore, we will not be making this over just to avoid the pits. And hopefully we don't break our teeth. Ready? Okay.
Yummy, yummy. Fruit salad.
That's very good. Delicious, in fact. It took me a minute because I'm used to things being overpowerfully sweet. And this isn't, but it's delicious. And considering that I'm going whole food plant-based and I'm done with refined sugars, I'm very happy that I'm gonna get to adjust. Anyway, move on to the next recipe and cut.
Here is the mise en place. All of the ingredients are ready. My cooked chickpeas, all the spices are combined. And then this is the stuff that we'll be cooking. And over here, I have the whole grains cooking. I'm just gonna do a little bit of a video because, you know, not everybody needs to see all this. But I've got my skillet, I have a lid, ready to get started on this recipe testing from one. Too many options. There we go. All right. Here we're adding everything in. I do want to make a note here, Jeremy, but the instructions don't say when to put the ginger in, so I'm assuming that you wanted that in with the spices. although I put it in with the coconut milk, mango chutney, and lemon zest. It also didn't say when to add the apples, but I added them in now so that they'll cook a little bit. I hope I did that right.
Hi there, Dina from South Carolina again, and today I am testing your recipe for any fruit cobbler. My husband is super excited about this one. He loves a sweet treat. I have my any fruit, which I have chosen a cherry berry blend. So we'll need 5 cups of fruit and 5. So make your filling. In a large bowl, we're going to mix our fruit, lemon juice, a 1/4 cup of the coconut sugar. I could not find coconut sugar. I just have regular sugar. So a 1/4 cup of that and leave the rest. And cornstarch. Now mix this together until it's well coated and into the prepared pan, which I don't have any parchment paper. I thought I would go old school and just use my iron skillet. I've made cobblers in it before, and that's generally how I make this type of dessert. So I'm just going to use the iron skillet, and it says a pinch of salt. And right into the pan. All right, and it's going into the oven for, it says, oh, some of these strawberries are really, really big. Okay, this is going to be delicious though. I know it is. So this is going into the oven for 40 minutes since it's frozen. So I have already mixed together my almond milk and apple cider vinegar to make the vegan buttermilk. And here I have my oat flour, I have my baking powder here. I'm gonna give this a mix up real quick. Okay, in a separate small bowl, mix together the almond butter. It took everything I had not to just eat this almond butter and applesauce while it was here. It sounds so good. Okay, and applesauce. Give that a little mix up. All right. That's mixed up pretty good, and we'll add our vanilla, which I've measured out previously to be a capful on this small bottle. We are going to add our applesauce and almond butter. This is interesting. I've never used a recipe that called for this technique. Sounds like a good one to me though. We'll mix that together until it's crumbly with a fork. That's nice and crumbly, kind of like a short pie crust. Guess that's what we're going for. Actually, this would probably make a pretty tasty pie crust. I'll add my vegan buttermilk and stir until just combined. Okay, set that aside. I'm gonna clean up here and make the cinnamon sugar. Okay, I've got our hot bubbly fruit out of the oven, our cinnamon sugar, and our batter, which it says drop by spoonfuls carefully. Whew, this is hot. This pan is hot. It doesn't say, but I'm going to spread it out a little bit. That looks good to me. And sprinkle with the cinnamon sugar. I may have used a little bit more cinnamon than what was called for. Back into the oven for 20 minutes. And we are out of the oven. I'm not sure if that's what it's supposed to look like, but it smells really, really good. My husband and I cannot wait for it to cool down a little bit so we can have a piece. Oh, it smells so good. Oh, that looks good. Let me give it a taste. This is really, really good.
Hi, my name is Kat, and I just made those bad boys, and I am super excited to try them. I know they're supposed to be a breakfast food, but I'm gonna eat them for dinner because I'm an adult and no one can stop me. So let's try it. It smells delicious. It smells like gingerbread, and I love gingerbread, so high hopes. Amazing. Honestly, 10 out of 10. Like, I'm not being generous. It's a 10 out of 10. It's really good. It tastes like gingerbread, which I come from a town that is famous for gingerbread. So I have high standards, but this is delicious. So I'm just gonna call it a gingerbread cookie because I love gingerbread and it tastes like gingerbread. So that's what I'm gonna do. It's honestly amazing. And I made it gluten free. So truly, like that makes it even harder for it to impress people, but it impressed me, so it's amazing. Everyone should try it.
Yes, that's on actually lower than medium. This is what I had left of the sauce from the pasta dish I made for dinner. Damn, that was a good sauce. I mean, that was freaking awesome. I could have drank it. It was so good. Very, very happy with that recipe.
Moroccan stew. Okay, so I'm putting a little bit of water in here, throwing in my onions, my celery, the red pepper. For garlic?
Yes, it's garlic.
I don't know if you can see it. I can't believe that this is actually working, like when you put oil in. That's bugged out.
It's the heat that does it.
Well, they said also that the vegetables release their own water juices. So you don't need to put oil. They are softening nicely, Jeremy. Without oil, this is amazing. This smells delicious. Spiced it up, buddy.
Is ginger a spice? Oh, salt and pepper is spice.
Oh, so let's go. Ooh, that smells amazing. My gosh. Yeah. What about the ginger?
Liquid give you a better...
Tomato.
Those are liquidy, so...
Tomato. Lemon juice. Fresh lemon juice. Veggie broth. Ginger. Ginger.
Then Marianne. No, I mean...
Ha 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 ha. Cooked chickpeas.
Then finally Gilligan. Oh, sweet potatoes.
Daniel, I don't know if they have Gilligan's Island in Canada.
Yeah, they do.
How do you know?
Because
Jeremy,
they have most of our shows.
do you guys have Gilligan's Island in Canada? Like, do you guys watch that over there?
We do have Gilligan's Island here in Canada. I don't know if it's in syndication anymore, but I certainly watched it in reruns when I was a kid.
So we're gonna bring this puppy to a boil. That's what we're doing right now. Gosh, it smells good. Whew. Okay, so putting in the peanut butter, which is yummy. To even think that any kind of dish calls for peanut butter makes me very happy and excited. Then we got some cilantro because yes, we do love this in this house.
You're gonna put that stuff in there?
What? Don't even try it. You know you like cilantro.
Oh yeah.
Trying to be funny. And the raisins. So now we're supposed to leave it for 5 minutes.
Soon after.
It's done, but it's not as thick as I would have liked it, so I did take some out. I put it in my Vitamix, and now I blended it up. So let me stir this puppy here. Okay. Now that, baby, look, Daniel, that is nice. I don't know how you do YouTube, Jeremy. Like, seriously. Look that way. You like it? Yeah? I'm scared. Okay. I've never had Moroccan stew in my entire lifetime, and I'm 53. That's pretty pathetic.
Not really.
Yeah, pretty pathetic. Here we go.
Okay.
Oh my God. This is so good.
Okay. Woo, woo. Woo, woo.
Thank you again from the entire PB with J family. I hope this video helped give some ideas on what you can expect from our upcoming ebook. If you've got any questions about things that I didn't cover, please let us know in the comments down below. Please share the links for our upcoming book with anybody that you think would be interested in it. And if you're new to this channel and this is the first video you watched, wow, that's amazing. That's amazing that you took a chance on this very specific video for our upcoming book. And if you're still hanging out here right now, YouTube just wants you to watch this video. They know you're a super fan, they know you love us, or you're just here for the first time and you need more. This is the one right here. Thanks.